You're not going to live to your 90, my friends. So stop making your financial plans based on this idea that you're going to live to your 90. There's no evidence that the vast majority of us are going to live to 90. It's just not going to happen. And forget the life expectancy having dropped because of COVID. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to prove it to you once and for all. It's just not going to happen. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's a life expectancy in the United States from 1850 to 2011. All right. And you got 50-year-old man, your old buddy Josh, I'm 51. In 1850, my life expectancy is 21 years. I mean, hold on a second. A 50-year-old man in the United States is white, which I am. And we don't have the data for blacks, but a 50-year-old man in the United States in 1850 had a life expectancy of 21.6 years, all right? You fast forward to 2011, and the life expectancy is 29.6. So in 1850, you could expect to live until you're 71. In 2011, you could expect to live till you're 79. Huge difference. Now we go over this one right here. Hold on just a second. And this is from New York government. You can see a 50-year-old guy could expect. This is 2000 and this is 2021. 50-year-old guy could expect to live 27.85 years. So that's 77 years old. All right. So you can see we have a life expectancy that's from 29.6, I'm going to make sure, yeah, 50 years old, 29.6 in 2011, 21.6 in 1850, and according to New York, the life expectancy for a 50-year-old guy was right here, 27.85. So you're not living, most of us aren't going to live beyond 80. Just not going to happen if you're 50 years old now, all right? So now let's go to 60. So I want to show you something else too. If you think about it, you take this number right here, 21.6. You're going to take a trusted calculator. We're going to take 21.6 is our present value. We're not making any payments. Our future value is what? Well, we'll just use this one right here, 29.6. And we go from 1850 to 2011. So that's 150, 160 years. Is that right? Yeah, 160 years. 160 will be N. Compute interest. That means our life expectancy is growing by 0.19% a year. 0.19% a year. Wow. I mean, that means in 10 years, your life expectancy has grown by 1.9%. So, was that like 3 extra days? It's just not that big of a deal. And then you can see here too, that not only has it leveled off, it's actually gone down. So we'll show you right here, I keep doing this. Life expectancy here, 50 years old, 27.85. And here you go, 28.2, 28.4, 28.5, 29. You see how they got this going, but now it's actually leveled off and gone down. Now, let me show you something I thought was pretty interesting here. Right here, deaths by all causes in the U.S. from 1950 to 2018, by all causes. And going from 2010, it was at 741. Now 2018 is at 723. So just not a significant decline in the number of deaths per 1,000 over the last 10 years. Now, lots of reasons over here. This is the entirety of the United States, by the way. Childbirth mortality has dropped significantly, thankfully. But in terms of the overall U.S., it's just not happening. All right, so let's keep going. So now let's say you're 60. You're like, man, I can't retire. Pablo? All right, so now you're 60 years old in 1850. You got a life expectancy of 15.6 years. So that means you're going to live to your 75. Now we fast forward to 60 years old and you're 2011. You're going to live until you're 81.5. Wow. And now we go to the New York one here. I keep doing this. The New York one right here is 60, 19.72. So basically you're going to live until you're 80. All right. That hasn't changed much, man. Over the last 160, 170 years, you're going to live to your 75. You live to your 80 right here, 2000, and it's just leveled off. That's till you're 80. Remember, that's if you survive until you're from 50 to 60. Your life expectancy is 60. All right, let me get the dog. All right, so remember what life expectancy means, by the way, is that life expectancy essentially says how many people who are at this age will die and how many people survive beyond a certain age. So basically, it's your average. You're saying, okay, the average person will live from 60 till 80. That's it, all right? And so what happens here is I'm going to show you something else too. As you get older, your life expectancy just drops like a brick in water, man. It's You know what I'm saying? So once you're 80, you hit your life expectancy, that just starts collapsing big time. It's nuts. So you're making these financial plans until you're 90. You're like, I'm in a crappy old job. I'm 60 years old. I got to keep doing this because I did a financial calculator and it says I only have a 44% probability of success until I'm 90. You're not likely to live to 90. Maybe make it 85. I was working with these people today. Hubby says he's going to die at 83 and the wife at 90. I think that's the way to do it. That's the way to make your plans. So I think he's 66 or something like that. So maybe 60 for us, mid 60s. So he's got another, what's that? 18 years, 17 years ahead of him. So you're like, dude, life's too short to drink cheap wine. You only have a few more years with your kids and grandkids and your wife. Go out there and make it happen. It's not like your job is going to make it happen. The job doesn't care. I don't blame the employer. The job says, I hired you to do something for me. I didn't hire you to live large with your wife and kids and grandkids. You don't have any time to waste. All right, let's keep looking because this stuff I love this stuff. All right, so that's for men. We talk about, how dare I talk about men? If you're 70, your life expectancy in 1850 was 10 years. We go to this one right here. Your life expectancy, according to New York, if you're 70, New York, Denver's 12 years. All right, so that's gone up all of 20% over the course of 160 years. We look at this, right here. Where's the other life expectancy thing? I guess that's it. Yeah. All right. So your life expectancy right here is right here. Out of 2011, your life expectancy at 70 is 14 years. It's just, I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right? At 70 years old, your life expectancy is 12 to 14 years. Wow, a huge change. We're going to live to 120, says Rick Edelman. It's just freaking silly, man. So no one is showing here the life expectancy of 90 unless you're 88 years old, 86 years old, 85 years old. No one's showing a life expectancy of 90 unless you're 85 years old. But let me show you something else. All right, so we're going to come back here. I want to show you guys this right here. All right, let me pause real quick. Here's what everyone looks at, the graph of life expectancy. Oh my goodness, our life expectancy was only 29. Our life expectancy is only 29.4 years in 1880, and now it's 78.9. On that trajectory, you can see we're going to live to 120. Only a fool would recognize the problems with this. And here, what do you think that is? Spanish flu. No, it's weird how the Spanish flu has that huge drop-off. And COVID is just like the Spanish flu, they were told us, yeah. Good boy. All right, so look at that. Life expectancy in the years of the Spanish flu dropped by 5 years, man. Isn't that nuts? I mean, dropped by 55 to 47, 8 years. Crazy. And then when the Spanish flu is over, right back up. Anyway, point being, this is all people, including babies. Infant mortality rates is through the roof. And you take away infant mortality rates, we just showed you right here, life expectancy hasn't really changed that much. It just hasn't. All right, so let's go back to this. Now, I want to show you something else here, too. I made this a log. All right, so this, did I make it a log? Yeah. All right, so I want to show this. The life expectancy from 40 to 50, it took from 1880 to 1903. So it took 23 years to go from 40 to 50. All right, the life expectancy from 50 to 60 took about 25 years or so, right? About 25 years. The life expectancy increase from 60 to 70 took from 1932 to 1963, another 30 odd years. The life expectancy increased from 70 to 80 from 1960, right there, 1961 till today, 2000. This only goes to 2000, I think 2018, is 78.9. We're still not at 80. That's 60 years later. 60 years later. Hold on a second. I'm getting at. The low-hanging fruit has already been solved. The low-hanging fruit, i.e. people smoking, babies dying too early, and things of that nature, it's already been solved. So what happens here is you got life expectancy from 40 to 50. All it took back then was 23 years to get that increase, and that's from 40 to 50. That's a 25% increase in life expectancy. Life expectancy from 50 to 60s, I don't know, that's 20%. It took another 30 odd years. Life expectancy from 60 to 70 it took another 30 years. It's 60 to 70, 10 divided by 60 is what, 8.5, 16%. Life expectancy from 70 to 80, 10 divided by 80, that's a 12% increase, and yet we're still not even there. 60 years later, and actually is right. Look at it. It's not only leveled off. This is before COVID, by the way. Look at it. 78.9 in 2012, 78.9 in 2018, and it's now like 77 something because of COVID. So we're still flat at 78. After 60 years, we haven't gotten up 12%. Life expectancy numbers aren't changing. It's leveled off, man. All right, so then we'll go to this right here. I love this chart. This is from the CDC. All right, what you're going to see here is you're going to say, hey, 100,000 kids were born, and this is, so survivors out of 100. This is dated 2017. Let me get my dog. Hold on just a second. Of those 100,000 children who were born in 2017, how many survive until they're 50? 93,000. So basically 6,000 or so, a little bit more than 6,000, die before they're 50. All right, with me so far. How many survive until they're 60? 88,000 do. However, from 93, age 50 to 60, that's, how many people died? 93,797 minus 88226. That's 5,571 people died between the ages of 50 and 60. Divide that by 93,797. That's 6% of the population who are 50 years old today died before they reached 60. All right. How many people survived until they're 70? Oh, only 77,000. All right. Again, that's from the age of birth. 77% of the people who were born will have survived until they're 70 years old. However, from 50 to 70, we lost about 16,000 people. 16,000 people divided by 93, we lost 17% of the population of people who died from 50 to 70. All right, people who died from 60 to 70, we lost 11 divided by 88. We lost 12.5% of the population. So basically, almost 1 out of every 4 people who are 50 years old did not make it until they're 70. So look around you. You say, hey, who's 50 here? One of you guys of the 4 around me are not going to make it till we're 70. All right, now we go to 80. All right, so 40,000 people did not make it till they're 80 from who were 50. They did not make it till 80. 40,000 divided by 93. There you go. 43% of the people did not make it until they're 80. I hope that makes sense. So for every 100,000 people you have, 43,000 died before they reached the grand age of 80. But I guarantee every single one of them said, I'm going to live until I'm 90. I don't guarantee that, but I imagine there's many that did. So I'm going to live until I'm 90. And then 85, you can see right here, the vast majority, the high majority are dead. That's just fact. Then you throw just men in, it's a lot worse, man. Men, look at only 35,000 white guys, 26,000 black guys, 44,000 Spanish guys. That's it, man. Only 35,000 white boys, only 26,000 black guys. That's it. Survived until 85. The vast majority of us die before 85. Never mind 90. It's nuts. All right, so the whole point about that is you're making these plans under the assumption that you're live to your 90. You shouldn't do that because their evidence is completely overwhelming against you. It's like betting the odds. The odds say you're not going to live to your 90, so why risk your freaking enjoyment of your life with your kids, your grandkids, and doing stuff you want to do for some crappy little job you hate? It doesn't make sense. But that's what they perpetually put you in. They put the fear. You got to work, you got to work, you got to work. Man, that's why I'm reading this book. Hold on a second. This book right here, The Right to Useful Unemployment by Ivan Illich. Oh my God, this guy is such... I just picked this up. I mean, he's just got so much freaking 10. I said 10. Let's see what it said on page 10. Right here. Let's just give you a couple things. The attempt to build a house or a set of bone outside the control of certified specialists appears as anarchic, old-time conceit. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Oh my goodness. But as professional engineer delivered models reached these independent women, these babies, young women in Mexico who are delivering without the help of the medical community. The desire, competence, and conditions for autonomous behavior are being destroyed. For advanced industrial society, the modernization of poverty means that people are helpless to recognize evidence unless it's been certified by a professional. 100%, man. In the 60s, lay opposition to legislation based on expert opinion still sounded like anti-scientific bigotry. Yep. Oh my goodness, and there's just so much stuff in here. And I just started reading it too. My aim has been to detect and denounce the false affluence, which is always unjust because it can only frustrate. The false affluence, which just leads you to frustration. I completely agree. It's such a good book, man. So anyway, all through history, the best measure for bad times was the percentage of food eaten that had to be purchased. In good times, most family got most of their nutrition from what they grew or acquired in a network of friends and relationships. Until late in the 18th century, more than 99% of the world's food was produced inside the horizon that the consumer could see from the church steeple. Before World War II, less than 4% of all food eaten was transported into the region from abroad, and these imports were largely confined to the 11 cities, which then contained more than 2 million people. Today, 40% of all people survive only because they have access to interregional markets, i.e. the shipping of goods. And this is 1973. Anyway, the point being is you're sitting on, and he gets into like what work is doing to you. It's killing you, man. It's literally killing you. And you're doing it because you think you're going to live to your 90. You don't want to be a cat person. You're like, oh my goodness. I have other thoughts on this on when the best time to take Social Security in revelation to that the fact you're not going to live to your 90. And I'll share with you some ideas on that because I think there are some stuff you need to look at that goes beyond just delay till you're 70. All right. Love your thoughts. We'll see you